Hi everybody, Phil Snyder, GunClassUtah.com. Hey, today I've got a very special video on the Utah School Safety Act amendments that went into effect May 1st, 2024. This video is for all parents in Utah that have K-12 children attending public schools. Just a little bit about me. I am Phil Snyder. I'm a retired Salt Lake County Sheriff's Deputy and Unified Police Officer. I've been in Utah law enforcement for 30 years. I'm also a Utah BCI certified concealed firearms and NRA instructor. But the purpose of this video is because I am getting contacts from teachers and other educators that are in the school district system that are coming to my concealed firearms permit courses and other training, and they're not even hearing from officials about any direction on, getting a guard or a guardian or a SRO in their school, things like that. Or, they're not being contacted about their safety needs assessments that the schools are required to do under the law. So I just thought I'd do a quick video since this is a fairly new law and it's quite a big undertaking for the schools to do. 6 months has passed since House Bill 84 school safety amendments went into effect May 1st, 2024. So next week will be the 6-month mark. Under this law, every single school, and I believe there's about 253 estimated K-12 schools in Salt Lake County, that a school safety needs assessment is supposed to be done at every school, and at least annually after that, collaborated with the Salt Lake County Sheriff or the sheriff in your jurisdiction if you are in one of those other 28 counties in Utah. That is to be collaborated and overseen by the county sheriff. And they're supposed to collaborate with the area police chiefs if they don't cover that school themselves, and also include the school safety, security, and security directors with the school districts and at the individual schools. If you haven't been contacted by the county sheriff or anybody from the state or anybody like that, or the school district, if just, you're just waiting around and maybe you're a school safety director, or maybe you are interested in the Guardian program, wondering what the hell's going on and how do I sign up for this, these kind of things, time to reach out. First thing I would do, very important, for the parents, please take note. I would get a hold of your school right now, if you don't know about this already, and ask if your school has either a school resource officer, an armed security guard, or a volunteer school employee that's a guardian. If that answer is no, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up your email, and I want you to contact these entities: the school principal, your school board president, and the state security chief, Matt Pennington. And let them know that you're not happy that your school is not covered under this new law, and try to get something in writing. Get a timeline. Ask them for a timeline when they can expect for your school to be covered. Second thing I want you to do, I want you to email your county sheriff. Every county sheriff has designated a county security chief that's within the sheriff's office, and ask them if they can come out either to your school or a district board meeting or something like that. So either the individual school, or maybe better would be a school board meeting where there's more schools involved, and have the sheriff present a presentation on what the Guardian program is. And ask if they can come to your school or your school district and recruit guardians. So yeah, if you don't have this school resource officer or this armed guard and the guardian is your last choice, ask if they'll come out and do that for you. Obviously, the school resource officer is going to be your best choice, your first choice. But I know that there's a shortage of officers throughout the state. I know Salt Lake City, I read something on the news that the Salt Lake City School District is having troubles. Something about the Salt Lake City Police Department not having enough school resource officers. Your armed security guard is obviously going to be your second best choice, and the last choice would be that volunteer guardian that we talked about earlier. But there's a lot of rumors going around about the Guardian program. There's a rumor that's been started somewhere that anybody can volunteer to be a school guardian. That's not the case. The volunteer guardian has to be a school employee. So, the lunch lady or the janitor, or maybe somebody in the front office where the students come in, somebody like that can volunteer and step up to do that. The process for the guardian is, number one, if you're interested and you are that school employee that I mentioned, you need to reach out to your school's principal and you need to have their approval, and then they can recommend to the sheriff's office to be the guardian. Once that's happened, you will be sent to have a mental health evaluation done on you to see if you are fit to be a guardian. And then you're going to have to go through about 24 hours of training. I'm guessing about 16 of that training is initial training. And then you're going to have to do 4 hours of training biannually and 1 4-hour session annually. And that training is going to consist of firearms handling and safety, safe storage. It's going to involve firearms practice and qualification, active shooter training to get your heart rate up and to test you to see what you're made of, if you can, step up to such a great responsibility for the schools. But this has to be approved by the sheriff. They can deny it if they feel like during the training you're not qualified to do it for some reason. Maybe you freeze or run away or something like that. That's what the purpose of the training to do is, by the sheriff, is to watch that. I know that, when I trained with the sheriff's office in UPD, we would know the officers that, tended to be cowards by the way they responded in this live action training, making this as real as possible, getting that stress up and getting that heartbeat racing, things like that, and evaluation them, and an evaluation of those abilities or lack of abilities. Once you're approved by the guardian, you do have to maintain that training every year, and you do get a $500 stipend to get your gun in your holster and maybe a flashlight, other equipment that you need, things like that. Do not, I repeat, do not accept excuses from the school and the school boards that they don't have enough money for this program. Too bad, it's the law. They claim they don't have enough money. Well, the school districts need to trim some fat off of the budget, but there's no excuse for that. And I've already heard that with school district board members. And I'm not going to mention their name, but it's not acceptable because it is law. And the legislature, if they wanted to, they could shut these schools down that don't have this coverage. So we need to make sure that we hold our leaders accountable and that they're doing these things. Remember, paper trail of emails when you're contacting these people I mentioned is crucial. You want a paper trail that will identify how long you've been waiting for this and all the documentation that you need. Very, very important. The longer you wait to tap into that $100 million that the legislature has allotted for this program, when the money dries up, guess what? We got to wait till the next session. And I'm being told through news sources that Representative Ryan Wilcox is estimating that number is going to be $800 million. My gosh. So, don't procrastinate with your school, or it just might be like during the 2020 pandemic when, we can't find frickin' toilet paper anywhere, right? Well, the longer you wait, We're going to run out of school resource officers and security guards and things like that. It takes time to hire officers, about 6 months. It took 6 months to hire me as an officer. From the time I applied until the time the sheriff shook my hand, it was about a 6-month process. If you are not interested in being the one responsible for when the shooter comes into the school and you just want to carry as an armed teacher without having to go through all of that process, you can get a concealed firearm permit. You can get that through me if you'd like. I can provide the class on that. We can get you licensed to carry. I recommend we do some range time. I've got a 2-day pistol course, and that's what the one is for the teachers. And at least let's get a teacher licensed, if that's all we have, or at least until these schools, your school is covered. Have a teacher just, carry a gun in there. This isn't something new. You can do this with a license without being a guardian. And I'm qualified to give you that training as a teacher. I'm also qualified to give you your pistol training. Part of that bill is you're required to have an NRA basic pistol course or something that is equivalent. So I can help you out with that initial training. Now, if you're going to be a guardian, I can't certify you to be a guardian. That is only the sheriff's office that can do that. Or, of course, if they designated me to do that, I could help them out. But the guardian training, you would need to go see them for the rest of that training. But I can help you out with that initial permit and the pistol courses. And, in fact, I've worked with a number of teachers already that have been through that course, and they really like it. Also, teachers, you get to save $53.25 on the 5-year license through the state of Utah. You just need to bring a copy of your school teacher ID, and as long as your work site is the school, you don't have to pay that $53.25. And I want as many teachers on here as I can. I'm going to be doing some training, how to prevent school shootings, how to avert them, how to keep them from happening to begin with. Most of these school shootings can be averted through, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but early intervention and having a good mental health CIT officer working in your school. The school shooters that scare me are the ones that are not affiliated with the school and they're just picking some random school to do violence in. That's what scares me to death. And that's why they want guardians, at least in those schools or somebody else that we mentioned. That is the one it's very difficult to prevent, and you need somebody there in the school with a gun if you've got that. But in recent history, we don't see a lot of that. Luckily, it's just peer-related or something like that. Maybe students don't resolve their differences, or maybe they get kicked out of school or something like that. They show up. A little bit about me. I am a 30-year law enforcement officer. I did about 18 of those years in patrol. I'm a mental health CIT officer. I've been doing that since around 2004, 2005, when the CIT program came to Utah. Salt Lake City Police Department was the agency that spearheaded the CIT program. And as I was working for the sheriff's office before I retired, I took that. I've done a lot of really good mental health work throughout my career. I've received commendations from the 3rd District Mental Health Court team in Salt Lake and from my division commander at the Kearns Magna Precinct for some work I did. Some of the best work I did. And mental health officers that are trained in de-escalation and that are proactive and are really good at getting information from people and getting people to talk to them and collaborating with mental health clinicians, doctors of these people that are suffering from drug abuse and mental health, can really go a long way and stop a lot of things. And so that would be one of the things you'd be looking for in a school resource officer if they have those credentials. I've also attended the 40-hour basic SWAT tactics course with Saratoga Springs Police Department, May of 2022. So I got a little bit of SWAT training background with me. That was a really fun course. I've been working for the Salt Lake County Justice Courts since 2015. The last 9 years, I've been running court security, and I've been a court supervisor, including a letter of character and employment reference from Judge Ronald Kuhn at West Jordan City Justice Court. So if all else fails and none of this stuff works, reach out to me. I'll volunteer my time to come to your school and help out with any way I can. If that's just talking to people, or you need me to sit in the school and guard a school, I'd be happy to volunteer my own time if nothing else happens and all else fails and somebody really needs somebody there. I'd be willing to step up for that opportunity to do that. And I actually know quite a few retired officers as well that have good records, and I'm sure that they would be more than happy if nobody else wants to hire one. We can come out and we can help in these schools. So reach out. Again, I'll put some links down there for your contacts you need to do. But, you know, this is a community effort. This does not rest on school resource officers, armed security guards, and school guardians to take care of this problem. This is a community problem that involves the parents and the students and school staff and mental health clinicians, everybody. Without the community, this will not be successful. I cannot emphasize that enough. When I worked in patrol, many crimes could not be solved without the eyes and the ears of the community. So to wrap up, if you hear your child or your child's friend say something, having some mental health struggles, for example, if Johnny says, hey, you know, I think those Columbine shooters were pretty badass, you know, and you know, they look up to people like that, that's a pretty big red flag. Or if you've got students that are being bullied and something like that, and you know, they're making threats to other classmates or things like that, report it. Talk to your children and ask them, and listen, parents, I know we're busy at home, but if they start talking about somebody, or if your child's got a friend that's at the house and you know that they're struggling with mental health, what's wrong with using a little bit of detective skills and maybe trying to get a little bit of information in a non-intrusive way as to what they're suffering from? Maybe you could finesse and sneak in a sneaky manner, kind of figure out if they're seeing a doctor or not, a psychiatrist, or, you know, if they're taking meds, or when's the last time they've seen a doctor for a checkup, what kind of meds they're on. Get information from the family members. Give that information to the school. Give it to law enforcement. Give it to the doctors. One time I had a person, a chronic caller, when I worked for the Unified Police Department, and there was direction from the division commander to arrest this person next time we went out there, and she was obviously suffering from mental illness, and you know, we had a significant call history to the house. And it was a disorderly conduct case, and I basically just went out there and I said, lady, the captain said the next time we come out here, you're supposed to go to jail if there's a crime that's been committed. I don't want to do that. I want to work with you. And I was able to get some information from her. And I called up her psychiatrist. Turns out he thought she was fine. He hadn't seen her in years. And he just could not believe what I was saying. And me and the doctor worked out something. He said, can you give me a few months? He couldn't discuss the details of his patient, obviously, for medical HIPAA reasons, but I was able to give him all the information about this person that I had dealt with, that she had told me was her doctor. And so when I checked on her a few months later, she was a completely different person. We didn't have any more calls out to her house. But, you know, that's the kind of things that we need to do. We need to be little detectives. This is a community responsibility. I just want everybody to understand that. It's really hard to successfully stop violence in school without the partnership with the community. Any police officer will tell you that. So please, get involved. If you like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to start doing other training videos that get into more detail how we as parents and students and things like that can collaborate with the community, and we can all work together in getting things done. Thanks for watching.